Hey, what's going on YouTube? Marine X back at it again. Let's talk about my truck everyday carry and exactly what I have within my tier systems for my actual carry to make sense for me. Now, we're going to talk about my vehicle itself, which you can see right behind me. I drive a 2015 GMC Sierra 1500. Let's do a quick overview of the vehicle. We're going to talk about what's in my tier 1 system. Then we'll do some other videos about my tier 2 and my tier 3 because they can be long altogether. All right, so here is my vehicle. I'm still driving a 2015 GMC Sierra, a 1500, and it's going to be hard for me to let this vehicle go for several reasons. First of all, it's paid for. I think that's the number one reason why I'm going to drive this thing to the wheels fall off. Speaking of wheels and tires, I'm literally looking to downsize from 20s and 35s. I want to go 18s and 37s. I really want to get a more aggressive offset. So we're going to go with smaller wheels and fatter tires. It's time to change these tires out anyway. So let me know, anybody interested in buying some 20s and 35s. I'll give you a pretty good discount because those tires need to be replaced and the wheels are still in good shape. But another thing about mine is I have a crew cab with a standard bed. So I have a 6'6" bed with a crew cab, which is extremely, I'm not going to say extremely rare, but it's harder to find in Texas where I live, because a lot of stuff in Texas is short beds with crew cabs. And excuse any wind that's going on, it's a nice day out here, but it could be a little bit windy. There are some things I want to change out on my truck. Like, it is time to change out the headlamps, you know, these things, the headlights. They are definitely older and getting long in the tooth, and so I wouldn't mind changing that out. But I've already done some adjustments to the side view mirrors, and just I really like the way that I've outfitted my truck out, a lot of modifications and stuff like that. So my everyday carry when it comes to my vehicle definitely has to do the things that I can immediately touch, things that I can get to if I at a stoplight, and then tertiary. So I have a primary, which I call tier 1. Primary are things I can touch. Okay, so as we go inside the vehicle, you'll see some primary stuff here in a second. And then secondary are things in the back seat. These are things that I can get to it like a red light. I'm showing you guys my vehicle in its organic state. Okay, this is how my vehicle actually looks. And then tertiary are things that are in the bed of my truck. My truck literally needs to be parked because there's just no way to get to this stuff, obviously, while I'm driving the vehicle. I'll do a separate video on the things I keep in the bed of my truck. All right, so going inside the vehicle, one thing we'll see here is I like to keep a microfiber cloth in the door of my vehicle so that I can wipe anything that gets on the inside glass of my vehicle, anything that I want to wipe down, like the mirrors themselves, I keep here. And then I normally keep a bandana in here just in case I need to tie my dreadlocks back or wipe sweat off my forehead. So a lot of anybody that drives a GMC Sierra 5.3 or the 6.2, or if you drive a Chevy or Tahoe or Yukon, they all have the active fuel management, and they'll automatically drop down to 4 cylinders. I don't like that feature very much, so I oftentimes will plug this into the OB2 sensor of my truck, and this cancels and keeps my vehicle in V8 mode all the time. So I use that sometimes. And then I have a top scan just in case I'm having issues with my truck. I will plug this into my OB2 sensor, and this can talk to my phone and give me some readouts of what's going on with my vehicle. So I'm still rocking the Rugged Ridge floor liners. I've had these floor liners for 6 years. These things still look really good. I've been wanting to possibly get WeatherTech, but I mean, I just don't have a reason to get anything like that. As you can see, I still am rocking a train horn on my truck. Caution for anybody that's sensitive to that. So we have that still going on. If I have to dump the air in my truck, there's a button right here. When I push that button, you might hear, just listen closely. So if I have to dump the air out of the compressor, the tanks on my truck, I push that. So we'll talk about that in a future video of how I have all that stuff set up. So one thing I keep up here, I do have one of these like fake modular holders up here, And I'm going to tell you some of the mods I have and EDC stuff I have in my truck. I caution you from doing this because they can be dangerous. I'm going to tell you about them and why you may not want to do it. So up here, all I keep is a Bastion pen that I use to sign crap if I'm going to places, or we went to a drive-through movie the other day. We had to sign the credit card bill. I use my own pens for stuff like that. Not a germaphobe, but I think about that stuff. Tide pen. These things are everywhere. They're in EDC kits. They're in pouches. They're in bags. Always removing stains from kids' clothing. Extremely important to do that. And then I did an entire video about this, but this is the Streamlight ProTac HL5X. So I removed the oh shit handle of my vehicle and I replaced it with a flashlight. This is another thing I would caution you. If you do this mod, you be cautious, because in an accident, this is a flying projectile. Okay, it's in there really good. But like I said, in an accident, this is something you have to think about. Do you want to do that mod? I have the same mod on the other side. I just have that area blank. I used to keep a machete, a double machete by Gerber over there. It's not up there right now. I don't know if I'm going to put another flashlight there. Give me some comments down below. What should I put in that replaced oh shit handle area? I would love to know with some of your comments down below. There are some things I'm replacing inside this truck. That's why I'm doing this review now, and I want to know some of your thoughts about stuff I should change out. All right, jumping inside the vehicle, some things I really like. So first off, I have this MagSafe holder here. It does 15 watts of power delivery from the DC port of my truck. I like this because it keeps my phone from being in my hand, and it still charges my vehicle. It has a really strong grip. Just make sure you rub the surface down with some alcohol wipes and you should be fine. And it plugs up into one of your DC ports of your vehicle. Most DC ports of these vehicles can put out 8 amps. I think some of them can do 10 amps. So that's plenty of power to actually power these devices. So my vehicle does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but it's wired. I don't have wireless. I do have a Pioneer screen that I put in and took out the factory system. To make my system wireless, I did buy one of these dongles here from Amazon. This is a wireless Android Auto adapter. I have one for my wife's phone because she has an iPhone. But you basically take that, you plug it in where you would put the wired port in, and now my vehicle is wireless CarPlay, and I don't have to have a wire hanging out the bottom of my phone, which I think is really, really dope. Now, other things here is when you organically have a GMC Sierra, or if you have a Chevy Silverado, these don't come with these little holders. It's actually just a big empty space. So I bought a tray right here. I'll link anything that I'm talking about, guys. I'll link up down below to see if you guys have a similar setup that you may want to buy or snag some of this stuff that might be helpful for you. Okay. So I bought this tray so that I can keep my stuff organized. That was extremely important to me. So we will talk about some things that I've updated and some things I want to update. I don't normally use a pry bar, but I like to keep this in here. This is the O-Pry 2 by Olight, or O-Pry, or their sister company O-Knife, or whatever the hell they're called. Okay. I don't normally use pry bars, but I keep this in the little tray area of my vehicle because there are times when I need to tighten something for YouTube cameras, and this does include some bits. So if I ever have an issue with any of, if I need a slotted or a Phillips screwdriver, they're right inside of there, really small, really micro, but at least I have them to make super fast adjustments. And it does have a bottle cap lifter. So there are times when me and my buddies will sit on the bed of my truck and just throw back some suds, and you can use this to throw back to open up those bottles. Lip balm, I have that in almost every EDC loadout that you guys see. Now these are very old. These are Google Pixel Buds from 2020. These things, just like my Google Pixel Buds Pro that I told you guys about in another video, I'm having issues with these. I love them so much though. Only the right one works. I've had these for 5 years. The left one no longer works. So I'm looking to replace these soon. I think I don't want to spend more than $120 on, because the reason I keep these in my truck, these are what I call grocery store and waiting room earbuds. Okay. So if I'm going to be going inside of a waiting room at the tax assessor's office, if I'm going inside the grocery store, if I'm doing whatever, I oftentimes will grab these, throw them on my ears when I'm walking around the grocery store, and I can continue to listen to my talk radio, watch YouTube videos, etc. So there's always earbuds in my vehicle no matter what. Next to that is a second case for my Ray-Ban Metas. I have 3 cases for my Ray-Ban Metas. And if I have my Ray-Bans on my face, I normally would jump into my vehicle and throw them in here and just get them a little bit of a charge. That way I can continue to use them that day and not have to worry about bringing the first case with me, because that case is normally inside of a bag or a pouch or something like that. And underneath that is one of my awesome hanks. This actually needs to be cleaned, so we're not going to open it up because I've used this to wipe my son's face recently, but I do use awesome hanks on my kids' faces. That's why I don't carry hanks very often, because I don't use them in pretty photos as some folks might do. Below that is a field book. I showed you the Bastion pen that was right above my on my sun visor, or my sun visor. And sometimes I will use my field book in here to write notes, give notes to folks, or whatever the case may be. So that's why I keep that there, and it's super convenient. Next to that is some box opening materials. I get stuff for YouTube, obviously. I get stuff from Amazon. So I have this little thing from Warbo. This is it's a 14C28M bladed knife. But I like it because if you use this thing properly, it will not overly stab a box as you're trying to open it. Like, you can use this thing perfectly to open boxes. And this is the type of knife that I can hand to somebody, and if it grows legs, I won't be too concerned about it. It's well made. It's like, I'm actually really impressed by this thing. And I'm hoping that I know they funded their Kickstarter. I think they're in full production. I'll link this down below if they are selling these. It's actually pretty good. We keep a Zippo in here because I do smoke cigars and I go to cigar shops. If the cigar that I have in my pocket or my pouch is dead, then most likely this one's fine. So unlike Zippo fuel, butane doesn't normally go out as fast. So I normally am fine with my lighter being in here for a month or 2 at a time. It normally doesn't evaporate as fast as Zippo fuel. And then next to that is almost always a smaller flashlight. So I know I showed you guys this bigger flashlight up here, the Streamlight, but I do keep a smaller flashlight in here to quickly just grab, and I can use it to quick check something underneath my hood or whatever. But another thing I'll do with this is I will quickly look for stuff inside my vehicle. So if my kids drop something back here in the back seat, grab the flashlight, use it to illuminate, look for crap. So for that job, I am using the Nikkor EDC 31. This is plenty of power for what I'm using it for. It has easy switch modes here to go through the different modes. It does have a momentary switch, which I like, and it has a lock feature. So right now the flashlight is on. Boom, flashlight is off. Now when my littles pick it up, because sometimes I let them sit in the passenger seat where we're at a grocery store waiting for mom or something like that, they can't turn the flashlight on. So we're not wasting battery. I like that. Let's talk about what's in the armrest. All right, so first off, we have a trauma med kit. This is a trauma med kit by 1110. I have 3 of these kits. They're all built the exact same way, except this one doesn't have a pair of scissors like the one in the bed of my truck. That's why it has Leatherman Raptor tool right next to it. But all these have the same thing inside of it. SWAT tourniquet, a CPR mask, an Israeli bandage, a chem light, a pair of gloves, so some gauze. Just, they're all built the same way. Somebody gets into an accident, or if something were to happen to me, there's a trauma kit in here. So it's a level above an ouchie boo-boo kit that it's always ready to go. Right next to that is a Leatherman Raptor tool. If I ever needed to cut open someone's clothing or anything like that, I've also used it for just doing simple cuts on cheerleaders' clothes and competitions. It's come in clutch plenty of times. The holster, all this stuff is being held on the Built Right Industries universal MOLLE panel. This thing, you buy these things, you put them wherever the hell you want. So I bought this and I drilled into the under part of my armrest, and this is where I decided to mount it. But if you buy them, you figure out where you want to put it as well. As mentioned, like I say, a lot of these GMCs don't come with that much organization. So I bought this organization tray. This part of the tray is empty because the med kit, it comes down and it fits perfectly in that area. If I put stuff there, it gets a little bit too bulky. I do keep a hero clip in here just in case I have whatever bag I have on me, whether it's a diaper bag or a personal bag or whatever. If for whatever reason I need to clip something to that bag or hang the bag from a surface, I always keep an additional hero clip inside. I do have a Data Crew What a Junior inside of here. And the thing about the What a Junior is it fits perfectly in this tray area. But this is what I keep just in case I don't have, I jump into my vehicle real quickly and I don't have like a full EDC kit on my body, which is rare, but this will let me just grab this and run into someone's house if they need a quick repair for whatever reason. So I have the Leatherman Skeletal, and next to that is the Vodsteed Bomber pry bar. And then I have a Leatherman half a bit kit by Leatherman. So just enough in here to do small repairs to, if somebody needs a repair to their, wall outlet, or they need me to take a look at something. This is very small, easy kit to grab, and I don't have to worry about going and find my pouch for my bigger kits. So that's why I have this here. All right, so below that, we do keep gum. Pretty self-explanatory. Tissue, pretty self-explanatory. Wipes, very important. Just to be able to quickly wipe your hands down if you have to do any repairs to your vehicle. Maintenance on I had to put a plug in my tire the other day. And after I got done doing that, wipe the hands down, makes life easy. I keep a 28 watt solar charger in here. The reason I like this one is because this one can output USB, and I can, if we're going to be hanging out for a while or whatever, I have it has cords inside of this. But if we're sitting around just hanging out, I can unravel this, turn my truck off, and still charge iPads, still charge cell phones. 28 watts is a lot, especially in full sun, to charge any of those devices. So this thing is pretty dope just for that. And then the very bottom, we have a SAS survival handbook. And this thing is fantastic. I have the mini survival handbooks, the full size survival handbook, just in case. I oftentimes take my truck hunting and I take it to the beach. I take it into predicament. I take it into areas where I have to let air out of my tires and go deep into the woods. If I get stuck out there, I don't remember how to do everything in the Marine Corps all the time. So this handbook will be helpful for me as a reminder of how to do stuff. And the thing is if I ever have to use that survival handbook because I'm going deep in the woods, I always want to couple that with something else that's very reliable, which brings us to today's video sponsor, which is Veer and their C5 Tactical Field Solar Watch. This has a solar powered quartz movement for the actual battery in this bad boy. 6 hours of sunlight gets you 6 months of reserve time. Imagine going deep into the woods with your truck, letting a little bit of air out your tires. You're going down rocky paths. You're going deep on a beach. I used to live in North Carolina where I may drive 10 miles on a beach to go camping somewhere. And once you get out there, your smartwatch may die. Maybe you forgot to bring the charger for it. You always want the ability to have something with you that can help you participate in your own survival. That's what you get with the Veer C5 Tactical Field Solar Watch, mainly because it's an analog watch. If you use this thing correctly in their sun out, it can help you find out which way is south. You can break the face of it and use the sapphire crystal glass as a knife. You can have a leather strap just like or something similar to that and use it to strap a knife that you may have on it. You can listen to it and allow that to help the mundane sounds, the mundane tasks that you have to help pass the time. So much more survival that comes out of an analog watch than any smartwatch on the market. The big thing I like about the C5 Tactical is that it blends in, and no matter if you're going to a survival situation or if you take it to the beach like I recently did when I went to Galveston, Texas, and I had to go to a cheer competition and I took a dip in the Gulf of America. So it just depends on exactly what you want to use it for. It works well for any of those scenarios. And it also works really, really great if you're going to be taking it into an office environment. I'm actually about to get ready to leave for a work trip, literally probably about 4 hours. This is the watch that's going to be going with me, where I get to go from a t-shirt literally to a full suit with a tie. It works well for all those scenarios, and they give a 2-year waterproof guarantee. If you decide to take this thing down into the ocean and test out the 10 ATMs, death for diving this, for taking a deep dive. Really good loom on this. You get 2 watch straps if you decide to buy this bad boy, and I just think it's much more worth it than spending money on a smartwatch that you're going to have to replace in 3 years time because tech is newer or the battery's degraded or it's just super scratched up because they don't use sapphire crystal glass on the front. There's just so much more reasons to get something like this than get any smartwatch. Use the code that's on the screen or use the link in the description to get 10% off of this watch or any other eligible watch on Vare's website. And shout out to Vare for sponsoring today's video. So the last area I'm not going to talk about today because it's quite a bit. This is the bed of my truck, which needs to be scrubbed down. But hey, I want to show y'all what life is really like. This is the tertiary area of my truck, which I really want to do its own video because there's so much stuff in here to go over. I haven't gone over in a few years. But my Built Right Industries Molly panels are still fantastic. My Pelican emergency case, there's a lot of stuff in there to go over. Another couple of med kits that I keep back here just in case of an accident. Some bottle jacks back there. Another Pelican case way in the back that might be hard to see. There you go. So another Pelican case way in the back there. So much more stuff to go over. I think I'll do a separate video on that. All right, guys. Fortunately, I was able to get that video banged out before the rain started, which I was extremely concerned about because I got to finish packing for this work trip I got coming up. I'm very excited about some of these bags that I'm testing out for that. And let me know with your comments down below. What I need to get for that vehicle, I need a new dash cam. I didn't even show you the dash cam in there right now because it's so shitty. I do not like it, and I don't even want to recommend it to people. So I need a new dash cam. I would like to upgrade and possibly replace some of the components in there when it comes to the stuff that I keep at the ready for me to go. So comment anything that you think I should snag, or if you have any suggestions for wheels and tires like I talked about before, I would love to know that as well. If this is your first time stopping by, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you a part of the battalion. Shout out to Vare for sponsoring today's video once again. If this is not your first time stopping by, well, thank you once again for watching me run my grape. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.